Today I'm going to show you two really good ways to improve your overhead, especially if you're a player who struggles with hitting on top of the ball on the overhead. Maybe you feel like you're hitting line drive shots that are hard to control. They often go out of the court because you're not able to hit that ball down and make it bounce up. Then this is going to be really helpful. The first way is to stand behind a fence and practice hitting the ball over the fence. Now, you're going to have to toss the ball to yourself in this exercise. So it's like a tennis serve. So I set up, I stand really close to the fence, and then I practice hitting that ball over the fence. Because the first step in hitting on top of the ball is making sure that we swing up enough so that we can get on top of it. If we swing like this, we're gonna end up hitting the back of the ball and it's not going to work out very well on our overhead. So if I do this example and I don't swing up enough, I'm gonna hit that ball right into the fence. So I start with my paddle back like I'm set up for an overhead. I'm gonna do an underhand toss. A little bit behind me will actually help, and I'm swinging up. So practicing step one of making that ball go high with my arm straightening as it's going up. Notice I wasn't doing a forward swing there. I'm just focused on the upward motion. For right-handers, same thing, just facing to the right. I stand pretty close to the fence. The closer you stand, the harder that it is. I toss that ball behind me, and I'm practicing on just swinging up to that ball. So making contact, looking where my paddle ends up at the end. If you're struggling with this one, then I recommend examining the grip that you're holding. It is important to have a Continental grip when we're hitting overheads so that we can get on top of the ball. Because I have this natural range of motion here when I'm holding a Continental grip. If I were to hold a forehand grip, for example, I can't get that same range of motion, and so therefore I'm often gonna just be hitting my overhead like this rather than being able to get on top of the ball. And how you find a Continental grip, one way is just hold your paddle with your non-hitting hand and then put your dominant hand on the grip of the paddle comfortably so that your wrist is relaxed. And this often puts you in a Continental grip. So for right-handers, this V that's created in our hand is on the left edge of the racket. For left-handers, it would be the opposite. So again, I hold it with my non-dominant hand. I just put my hand comfortably on that grip. So I have this V on the right edge of the grip. So once you've got your Continental grip, try this again if you didn't already have it. And now we'll move on to exercise number 2. For exercise number 2, let's actually go on the court. And what you're going to do is serve like in tennis, but from one knee. So if you're left-handed, I want you to put your left knee down on the ground. We're facing sideways. Toss the ball a little bit behind us, back towards that fence, so it allows us to swing up and get on top of the ball. And your goal is to make that ball land inside the court. So if I don't do this right, often what's going to happen is I'm going to hit the ball out of the court because I'm not swinging up enough to be able to create that downward angle and bring that ball in. But if I do it right, it should look something like that, where that ball ends up coming down into the court. So I go up and then I come down. So starting with my paddle ready, go up and I come down. For right-handers, it's the same thing, except you're facing to the right. You're gonna put your right knee on the ground. If you have a towel or a yoga mat, that's gonna be a lot more comfortable than what I'm doing right now with my knee on the asphalt. I'm gonna toss with my left hand, start with my paddle back, Continental grip, try to swing up to be able to make the ball come down. Again, if I don't swing up enough, this is what's gonna happen, where it's a line drive shot flying straight, not coming down quickly enough, versus if I can get on top of that ball, I can make that ball come down into the court, and with that acceleration of going up, my paddle should then start coming down. And then you can experiment and try this from different areas of the court. So I'm moving back a little bit, same thing, making that ball go down into the court. Now, if you really want to impress me, try this from a seated position. So I'm sitting, toss it, making that ball go down. So paddle has to go up in order to come down. Now notice that when I'm making contact more back here with the ball. So my paddle's going up to it here. If I toss the ball too far forward, it's gonna promote more of a linear swing, which I don't want. And so that's the same thing when you play your overheads. Trying to play them a little more behind you will promote that paddle going up first. So if I get an actual overhead and I play it more behind me, that's gonna really help with swinging up to be able to get on top of the ball.